Right now you find me just about to whip these bearings out. This is the Austin 12 hub and I pulled it off last week. Now I'm just about to get a bit tappy with this and take this off and have a look, see what bearings we've got. There it is. What it is a big castellated nut. Right, this is being a bit naughty, it doesn't want to come out. I can't think of any other way of doing this. I've tried pinching him out with this little bar and that. I was talking to Matt with a rat at Fabricating Racing and he came up with a good idea. Weld a bit of plate to the bearing, because the bearing is useless anyway. Weld it to it and then beat it through from the other side. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's see if that works, eh Matt? Right, so I'm going to weld that to there. And then try and beat it through from the other side. Thought this was going to be an easy job this morning. I thought it was going to be straightforward and I could get going. I've turned the welder up this a little bit. Up, up, up and away. How to kill a bearing. There you go. I wonder if that bearing will turn that. For some reason it doesn't want to turn anymore. I'm going to let that cool down I think first. And then I can go straight through there with a punch. Wallop. Heath Robertson, isn't it? There you go, that's cool. Well, that was from the idea from Fabricating Racing, and what a good idea it was. Well done, Matt. Cheers, Mish. I don't think me welding that big lumps helped with the with the way it sounds, but that was definitely well gone. With no windscreen, I can't hear any bits of the car whining or grinding, so I'm going to get a couple of new ones of those. What I'm going to do is take this whole piece down, get them to match it up, get a new lip seal for it and all that. It wasn't as bad as I imagined it was going to be, because I did imagine this was going to be an absolute nightmare. I think Matt had a bit more of a job than I did getting that first piece out, but I got lucky on that. Next one I got to whip apart is this one, which is easy. You just split them open and the bearings fall out. There we go. So there's one. These two have got a little leather seal going around the outside here. So I'm going to take this bit with me as well. Better give it a clean, save your man getting his fingers dirty. Right, and that's them two. I'm not getting them too clean. These look the same as Austin 10 ones. Right then, off to the bearing place. I look forward to getting the bearings done on the Leaf. I did the front one. Having the back ones done as well means I've got lots of trouble-free motoring ahead, hopefully. Anti-friction. Oh, it's all going on down here. Anti-friction. Here we are.
Oh yeah.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
I've got a big pile of bearings for you to play with.
Well, thank you very much.
How you doing? You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, good. Right, I'll sort this into its parts.
Right.
Right, we've got those two, which are basic.
Yeah. I think we might have to get them in for you, but we'll have a look.
I wish I could measure like that. I'm terrible. Were you an engineer anyway?
I wasn't. No, I used to repair washing machines.
Did you really?
Many moons ago.
Well, what stopped you doing that?
Just that they got so cheap to buy new that the business just dropped off.
Do you miss working for yourself then?
Not really. No, you get the certainty of
Having a wage packet? Yeah, I suppose so. I'm unemployable now. I have been for years.
Once you've been doing your own thing for a while.
I've been doing it too long. This is Simon, everyone.
Hello.
I've never introduced you, have I? I've come down here. I had to get this bearing out this morning,
I see.
so I resorted to, because it was right down in there.
Right. Oh, okay.
And of course, you know, you've got that.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to my mate, and he said, well, why don't you weld a bit? And before he had finished the sentence, I had the welder out, and it came out real easy. So that's the bearing.
Sure. I think that's a metric size one.
What's it doing metric in Austin?
Good question.
Austin 12 from 1935.
No idea whatsoever. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to reproduce that. Obviously, a bearing from 80, 90 years ago might not be available anymore. I can't see any numbers on it. But I'll find out all about this. I'll let you know.
Lovely job.
I can.
I'm sure these ones are available. That odd shape one,
Yeah.
What the score here is, the inner race sits up about, what's that, about 4 mil?
Yeah, it's instead of being 20 mil broad on the housing, it's 27. So 3.5 mil.
Yeah.
That's a
Not the big bit welded on there, but you can see the idea. It's out that side and this side.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. You need a challenge. You don't want all them 8s and M12s, do you?
No, I suppose not.
Lovely job. Cheers, dude.
Okay, radio.
See you later, Simon. Now he'll be back to me by the end of tomorrow, I bet you. Matt did say about this weird bearing where it's a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. There's different sizes and the centre to the outer of the bearing. Quite interesting. Tuesday and the sun's out at last. I've been out here a while actually trying to find bits and pieces because I've lost everything since I took it all apart. Okay, your man with the bearing said he can get these two all right. I thought he would be able to because I've got some off him before. With this one, where it's got the shoulder, where you see it's wider than the outer race, the inner race, he can get this bearing, but he can't get it with that extra bit on. You definitely can't get it with that big lump welded on them. What I'm thinking of doing is getting that bearing and then just putting a couple of spacers exactly the right size. I can't see how it's going to make that much difference because it's quite broad anyway. If you've ever got to change them, it's a easily available part. So you've got a spacer on the bottom and then the bearing to sit on top of the spacer. You just have to locate it. I could pin it in there actually, to be honest with you. Drill 2 holes and just blind pin it in there. Then this sit on top. This piece goes on top of there. So if you made it fit into there, then once it's bolted on, I think that's probably it. As I can't find the brake rods, I've got a decent die now, so I'm going to make all the brake rods up. Right, the way I did these brakes, this little nipple what usually took a cable and it was soldered in there, I've wound a high tensile bolt into it, so it does that. I've got another bolt and it goes through there. What I'm doing, I've got one of these joiners, and unfortunately this is stainless, but I can replace it. Wind that onto the rod, that'll go onto there. I think what I'll do, once I get this in mild steel, I'll weld this onto here, because it just makes it super strong. And that piece just slots into there. And basically all you're doing is pulling on that. Right, now this end, I need to cut this down and put a fairly long thread on this, because that wants to go about there somewhere, I believe. This is the original brake arm for an Austin Big 7. You look, it's about same length, so I'm assuming that's the right ratio. I don't know what the bottom one does, but we got a smaller one on the back. But I'll get them cut like this. A bit of this stuff as well. Right, I was just going through my brass box, and this is a nut of a Triumph 5TA clutch. I'm hoping I've got another one, but it's brass and I want it to do that. Have a couple of nuts on here, and then you just wind them up like that. That's what the rod's done, and the rear one's pretty straightforward. It goes straight down there, straight under there, onto that bracket I welded on the other day. A bit of a t-shirt advert, lads. So I've had some inquiries about some long sleeve shirts, so I've got some sweatshirts in with a few of the designs on. We also now have a Rat hoodie, an Ingenuity over Bucks hoodie, and I think we got a Crosley hoodie as well. So if you're interested in any of them. And then just for a laugh, as it's Christmas, I've got some pants in there. These are frog oil pants, and they got your frog oil on the back and then oak swamp right round your bum. So ladies, if you've got a hardcore swamper, you know what to get him, a nice pair of swamp pants. Also, massive thanks to everyone who has already bought some oak swamp merch. Cheers guys. Right, let's do it. I've been putting this brake assembly together. I decided when I was doing it that I'm going to change this to a chain drive. To be honest with you, it's alright, but So what I'm going to do, I've got this old timing chain and a couple of cogs. I'm going to get choppy with them, attach a piece of cog to that, and attach a piece of cog to that, and then put the chain in between the two. Right, to get yourself moving, this front one I'm going to cut a section out about there. Might cut it in half actually. But I'm going to cut this down, and then I can start working out how it's going to go. Right, I'm going to cut this original lump off of here and get it ready for this. I've cut the middle right out because it was too rough. So now I'm going to cut a bit of this axle stand down, put him in there, weld him up, a little tiny bit of grind, that'll fit lovely and flush on there so I can put a good weld on it. Right, so I'm happy with that. Look at that, that's perfect. What I'm going to do now is come up with some way of affixing this to here. I mean a little stop up here just to stop it moving forward, and then I can get this pedal made exactly how I want it. I need one that side as well because when I was driving it before, the clutch just fell forward and it's scary. Right, that's what I've just done. I drilled a hole for a bolt and I put them on the end, and then a split pin just heads into there and holds it in place. I've welded these bits in a bit so they're never ever coming off, so I'm just going to finish cleaning that up and that's ready to go on now. Okay, I did the exact same thing on this one. Cut a bolt down, drilled a hole in it, and I'll just put a weld in there and we'll be lovely. Right, there we go. Pretty happy with that. So that's it about there, look. You can see how much movement that gives you. Beautiful. Next job I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some sleeves to go in here, and I'll put a grease nipple on it so these can always be greased. The only thing I got is the right size is this bit of stainless, which is never going to rust, is it? So I'm going to use this. It's only going to be a small little bit like that. So this is what I want to do. But what I've got to do is open these holes up a bit because it's not quite in the right place. The grease nipple on the top of that. Okay, here's the first one. What I'll do now is drill 2 holes here and tap a thread in there, put a couple of bolts in, and then I'll weld this to this, and then that'll remain behind and everything will just slot through it. Just clamp that in, that's in exactly the right place. I'm going to put a couple of tacks on it, get them both inside, then bring them out to weld them up. I've welded it on, it can't come off anyway. What I think I'm going to do is, I don't know. Well, I've had a thought about this and I'm just going to cut them off here, cut them off flush, and I'll give them a good grease up before they go in. Alright, there we go, there's the first one. That just slides straight into there. You can see why I wanted a grease nip on it, but there you go. I'll grease this up before it goes in properly. But look, you can see it's all nice and limber, loose. Good. Okay, I've just connected the back brakes up. What I'm going to make now is a little piece that comes over this and then comes to here, and then it's got a bolt on it with an adjustable stop. And this piece coming up over here, stop you hitting your foot on the chains. Like that kind of thing. It's a little bit of forward, so I'm just going to bang a thread in it. Freddy, Freddy, Eddie. It's a bit of forward, so it's a nice bit of steel. Right, so I welded that one in there. Right, moving on to this handbrake. Originally I considered, as this moved forward, connecting something to this rod, but I don't really like the idea of it. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to run another rod to the front like this, so it goes from there to there. This piece here I'm going to cut off and weld back on up, so it goes up in the air like that. I'll show you what I'm going to do to allow for braking and not moving the handbrake each time, but I suppose it doesn't really matter because it's not going to be a fixing handbrake. It can move with it, to be honest with you, on this. If this was a normal handbrake, every time you push the brakes on it would click on, but this isn't going to have any sort of ratchet system. This is just to give you a bit more grunt, you know. This is just like the emergency brake. It's not a parking brake. So I need to chop that off and see how long that's going to look. I think I'm going to sort of knock it together and see what it looks like, and if it's going to work, then I'll carry on. There was me digging this hole in the ground. That's into there. And that got to there, look at that. I'm having to line all these rods up because I couldn't have it without them lined up. Well, to set this up, I'm going to just use this one. I know it's not really strong enough with that quarter threading, whatever the size that is in old money, but it means I can set it up. It'd be nice next time I drive this now and I've got my brakes all sorted. They seem to be coming along quite well. They're all nice and limber, quite loose. I don't want no binding on it. I actually prefer cable brakes to hydraulic. Maybe not so much driving, but I like working on them better. Oh, there we go, you can see everything's moving everywhere, including the brake pedal. Now when I hit the brake pedal, you see now, it doesn't move this at all. I wasn't going to do it like that, but it's just worked out that way. This is what you do when you've got a ratchety round handbrake, but it... pulled it right off. Tackaroo! Okay, so the bit that snapped off. What I'm going to do is I've got a bit of this round solid bar, and it'll fit right up in there if I take that bolt out. So I've been wondering what to do once I do finish the brakes. I've been thinking about this engine. Every time I've run it, it's had very, very low oil pressure. I went online and had a look round. It seems they do actually run quite low oil pressure. On the Crosley forum, there's a guy knocking these out and they're about 60 psi. It's my consideration that the pump isn't doing what it's going to do, so before I go any further than that, I'm going to take that engine out, whip it upside down, take the sump off and have a look at this pump, see what it's actually doing, see if it needs replacing or rebuilding or whatever. I did wonder if it was a priming issue, and there's a piece here at the front, filled that up with oil before starting and it kind of did. So the engine is going to need to come out again, unfortunately. But by draining the oil, it will get rid of any swarf or anything that's happened. You know, it seems this was a new built engine. But I'm not going to do that today. Handy, this little thing. They come with a load of tools. I don't know who gave me it, but it's a nice little die grinder. Saves the compressor going off every time. Oh yeah, I've got sunshine. Pre-grind, you can see where I've been building all the corners up, getting the corners so they flow in a bit better, and that'll roll round once it's ground. Putting a bit of shoulder on it, giving it strength. That one dug right in all the way around. I'm going to grind it up and then just tidy it up. First grind. I like the look of it there, don't you? The way it catches the light. you see where the sort of shape I'm getting to it, and just flattening everything out, tidying it up. What I'm trying to get is something that looks like a forged piece. It's starting to look like one piece already, isn't it? Right, there it is on. It don't look too bad, does it? Time that rust up. This handbrake idea seems to be working. Just got to make some decent ends for these. Right, I've got to finish off this handbrake, and what I'm going to do is weld it up and then cut this piece off the bottom because there's no need for it. I might consider putting some holes down it. What this actually is, this was like a boot rack that sat on the back of the Austin 10, and it would have come down like this, and you put your suitcase on it. But it's a nice bit of steel. I'm going to cut this knob down a bit because it finishes about here, so I'm just going to take it off. Pretty chuffed with that. It's all looking pretty good. All the angles are looking alright. Obviously I can't get them exactly, but if you follow the angles of the brake rods there, they're all to be quite close to where the chassis runs. So I give this a bit of a wash out to get rid of all that vinegar and that, and it's left a bit of a mess in there, which I kind of like. You know, around the edges it's a bit ginger and that, and look. So I'm not going to take too much more of that off because it's going to be soon to be covered in oil and nonsense anyway. But really pleased with the way these brakes have gone. They're pretty much there now. All I've got left to do is just make some brass bits for the ends and just generally have another clean up. I think I need to put some holes in this. But so the next thing on this is going to be putting this body on. I've got a few odds and sods. I've got the tank to put on. I've got to weld up this obviously. I've got to make a dash, and I've got to finish the steering, which is not too far away. It's all happening, but it just needs properly strengthening and all this to be finished off. As you can see, it's all tacked. Like I said before, I think I can whip this engine out. Once I finish all the fabrication, whip the engine out, turn them upside down, have a quick butcher's in there, have a play. I also think it needs an oil seal on this back end of this gearbox because it hasn't got one, and it's likely to throw it out everywhere all over me. Also next week I want to continue on with the leaf at some point because I want to get the windscreen on and get the rear wheel bearings done, all ready for the old Christmas ride out on Boxing Day. But if you want to see any of that, I'm afraid you're going to have to tune in next time. So if you're not subscribed at this moment, make sure you hit the old subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like and a comment. It's always really appreciated. If you want to help me out and support the channel, go over to my shop and get yourself a lovely Oak Swamp t-shirt or a nice pair of pants. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you dudes next time. Hang it.